one on there. Okay. Good evening, YouTube. Good evening, guys, and welcome to the FPL Family. Another live stream from the FPL Family. This is episode 55, I think. 55. My name is Lee. This is Sam, and we are here to react and to review to Gameweek 36. Now, I think, I don't know, guys. I found it very, very tough this week. You've had a good game week, so we're going to come to that in a minute. And Richard already on the line.
Good.
I think you have. We're going to come to your game week in a minute. And Richard's already saying in the live chat that he's got 66.
Yeah, well, why not? Richard's had
66. That is absolutely awesome. That is awesome. So I think for a lot of us, it's been another tough game week. So we are obviously going to react to game week 36. But also quite quickly, I think we're going to hope to get round to game week 37. Because this is a big, big game week 37. It's one that we've all been planning for a long time. We've been thinking about which players we're going to get. So as well as doing... I mean, obviously, we're going to do another live stream during the week where we will look in more detail at 37. Obviously. But I do want to get to... It's the biggest talking point on Twitter right now. It's 36 is done. I was going to say 36 is done. There's a big game tomorrow night. Of course there is.
Yeah, there's a massive game tomorrow. With my captain in it.
With your captains, of course. There's lots of FPL points still to play for. However, big talking point is game week 37.
Which, don't forget, starts on Friday night.
Yes, it does actually. I didn't know that until someone tweeted it actually earlier today. So
yeah.
is it United game on Friday night?
Brighton, yeah. So please don't forget.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, don't forget that because that is quite important.
By Friday.
Okay, so we're going to say hello to a few people, guys. Before I start, I've done a bit of jiggery pokery on the mics tonight. So I'm hoping, because I wasn't that happy with the audio on the last one. I thought whenever I laughed loudly, it was coming across a bit crackly. So I'm trying to...
Did you sound like a witch? Were you a bit catty?
It just exploded my headphones a little bit. So I'm hoping that actually the mics are a bit better tonight. So let us know in the live chat if they're good, bad or indifferent. Just let us know. Good to get your feedback. So let's talk about...
say hello to people.
Let's say hello to people. Absolutely right. And then we'll get to game week 36.
You got distracted again then, didn't you?
I did absolutely, because we've got to talk about our teams.
I'm going to put my glasses on so I can read the chat.
Very quickly move on from my team, and then we're going to talk about City to start with, because they were in scintillating form with the reins off, and we haven't got to play for any points. They're just phenomenal again.
Wants to be the most, doesn't he?
Absolutely. So say hello to a few people. There's a few of you in already, actually. A few of the in-laws in. So Vinyl Richie is here, as we've mentioned before. 66. Very, very good instead. Mr. Tules is here. I think I've said that right. Tules. Mr. Tules is a new name to the stream, I think. So welcome Mr. Tules. X and Company, who I've not seen on the live stream before as well. So welcome. Samuel Ghali is here. Andrew Yee is here. Michelle's here, as is Gary Ticker. Jamal's here, as always. I think Jamal was first in, so Jamal gets that prize or something. I don't know. First in prize. Bit of pride there. Pat on the back. Michelle, as we've said, hello. Fantasy Football Academy is here, so welcome. Thank you for joining. Mark Back 76 is here. Fast and Bulbous is here. Dom J is back again for another live stream. Thank you, Dom. Robert Hansen is here. Florin is here. Hey, Florin, haven't seen you for a few weeks, so welcome. Welcome back, Florin. Jeff is here, as always. Thank you, Jeff, for joining.
My competition's in.
Oh, yeah, I'm interested to see how we got on. Because it was 1 point, wasn't it, between you?
Well, it ended up being 3 because
you took a hit,
I took a hit and he didn't.
But you took a hit for?
I took a hit.
Mr. Leighton Baines, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, so phenomenal.
Alonso obviously would have got 0. Leighton Baines, 12.
And we're going to come to that in a minute.
Firmino out for Jesus.
We're going to come to that in a minute because you were getting some grief on it last vlog, and I was giving you some grief. I think we are going to talk about that. You want to talk about Baines, don't you? Just to be clear, you want to talk about Baines?
Talk about Baines.
Yeah, good, okay. You were loving that when he got that assist.
I was so excited.
Oh man, it was terrible. So who else is in? Oh, terrible for everyone else that's not got Baines. I think I've given everybody a mention. Oh, Mats is here. Good morning, Mats. Evening, Mats, wherever you are in the world. I think it could be morning. I don't know. It's evening, Mats. How you doing? Micah's here. Good evening, Micah. Lord Vader, James Brady, Liam Riss. All of you guys are in. So, guys, thank you very much for joining us on the live stream tonight. I want to hear from you, obviously, in the live chat. Let us know how you got on this game week. I personally found it tough. It was a tough game week. And the transfers I was going to make, as I was saying on the last vlog, I was going to get rid of Mahrez and Lukaku. And I didn't because I thought it cost me a -4.
I thought
Lukaku would have a good game against that Arsenal team. And the players I was going to bring in, Sterling and Jesus, they were the ones I was going to bring in. So that is a decision that's cost me. It's cost me this week.
I think that's how we should start with your team, really.
I feel very, very bad about it. So let's very briefly go to my team and talk about it. And then I want to get to yours because you're having another good game week.
I'm sure I have.
I think you are.
It's a bit average, really.
I think you are. I think you are. Guys, on the left-hand side there, and I mentioned to Gary Tricker, actually, in the live stream, just as I was coming in, he wanted to join the league. The league is there, Gary, on the left of where we are, I think, at the bottom of the page. So that's the league code if you want to join in. If you haven't followed us already...
Michelle, triple captain Salah this week.
Triple captain Salah this week?
Oh,
Michelle, that's a tough one to take. That's a tough one to take. He could have a bit of a retrospective thing as well. Do you see that thing about him flinging an arm? You see that?
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, there's a video of him flinging a bit of an arm. It's on Twitter as a punch, but maybe I'm being a bit biased. But it does fling an arm.
What, is he going to get banned?
Well, nothing's been said yet. It's not been. Nothing's been said, but got to be careful about that. Potentially,
waiting.
I don't think anything's going to happen, but not spotted by the ref during the game. Anything can happen now. Things get caught on video, don't they?
Yeah.
Plus all of that nonsense. What's going on with his Vodafone thing? Have you seen that? Heard about this?
No.
Oh, so let me. I think I'll get this right, guys. On the live chat, you can tell me whether I'm wrong or not. But I read somewhere that the Egyptian FA used his image with a telecoms provider that wasn't Vodafone. So he's got a contract with Vodafone, and in that contract with Vodafone it says your image cannot be used in relation to any other telecoms providers.
Right.
So the Egyptian FA have used his face with some other telecoms provider.
Right.
Now Vodafone has said, well, that is a breach of your contract, Salah.
Oh dear.
And now someone owes us 100 million Egyptian whatever pounds or something, which is about 5 million GBP sterling. It's about £5 million sterling. So the FA are saying, well, not our fault. It's Salah's contract, so he's the fact that we did it doesn't matter.
Oh,
and Salah's saying, well, I should
it.
get the support from the Egyptian FA, and by the way, I'm your star player, and all the rest of it. So there's all this going on in the background, as well as the flinging of the arm. It could not be worse timing from a Salah and Liverpool perspective. It could not be worse.
Goodness.
But anyway, we will.
Is Clown clearly out of the league? Been too busy worried about what's going on.
Yeah, a little bit. A few of you guys are saying stream has the incorrect title. Karim, thank you for saying that. We come on again in a little bit of a rush, and that is my fault this evening. So I probably called it the previous episode. So I don't actually know if I can change that. And if I did, I'd probably screw stuff up. So let's have a look. Here we go. 55, Gameweek 36. Reaction.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen. I've never done that before, but I'm hoping that's not going to change anything.
It changes saved. Does it say the right thing now?
Probably says the right thing. Look at that. Live changes to the stream. Anyway.
I'm glad that somebody knows what we're doing anyway. We're doing the wrong thing.
So there's all that stuff about Salah going on in the background, and obviously Michelle, triple captain this week. Very, very unlucky. Yeah. Very, very unlucky to get the triple captain wasted, really, in that game week.
Frustrating. We were on our way to talk about your team.
We were. So there's Twitter on the left-hand side there of the stream. So if you're not following us already, at FPL Family on Twitter, please go and do that. And also at FPL Family on Instagram as well to talk to Sam and interact with her through there. So let's have a look at my team. It's not, I don't know if it's updated or not yet. We normally do kind of an update again towards the end of the stream, don't we, when they've updated the overall ranks and what have you. But it's a bit of a tale of woe, guys, to be honest, as well as my Mahrez and Lukaku to Sterling and Jesus that I was looking to do, not paid off. The Salah captaincy, not really paid off. Van Dijk went in the book, I think. Miljokovic could have got that penalty, didn't he?
Penalty?
Well, I think the players, and from a Palace perspective, you can see it, can't you? They're 4-0 up and Benteke hasn't scored. So you give him the ball to, get the pen, get the goal.
But does he not understand the point? The point situation is key.
Does he not get FPL?
I mean, what's he doing?
Well, the thing is, I always find, and that's happened before, isn't it, in Premier League teams, and I always find that that's a risky strategy because he tucked it away. Of course, he did 4-0 up, not a lot of pressure. That's good. What if he misses that? If he misses that, it's just even worse for his confidence, isn't it? But
certainly. But then, I suppose. Is it likely he's going to miss a penalty? Probably not. Probably not. So long story short, guys, my team, no one really has brought home the bacon at all. I mean, Loughton, my Burnley defender, is top scorer right now, which is really, really poor. And then Kane and Eriksen obviously to come tomorrow. So the transfers I was going to do, didn't do it, not paid off. The team not looking great. So, but you have got Kane and Eriksen tomorrow who should bring home the bacon for you.
I hope so. I mean, let's wait and see. But there's plenty of people that have got Kane plus another, right? So I don't foresee there being.
There's that many that have got Kane and Eriksen.
Eriksen
is the most expensive.
Potentially Eriksen's a bit of a differential for me, but I don't think when all's said and done on Tuesday morning I'm going to be waking up to a green arrow. I think it's going to be a red arrow, sadly, because I was having a little bit of a little run actually. I was having a bit of a run, yeah. For the last few weeks, actually doing quite well. sort of scraped up to somewhere near respectable on 125, I'd still like to get in the top 100k. That is where I want to be.
I don't think you're going to drop by that much.
Well, like I said at the beginning, I think it was a tough game week. But there's a few players that if you've got Sterling and Jesus, that's going to propel you up the league. If you've got Baines, that's going to propel you up there. But for me, no one's really come in, so it's a bit of a tale of woe, guys. Let's move on very quickly and let's have a look at your team, because I don't think you've done anywhere near as bad. Plus, you've still got Captain Kane to play, right?
And Sonny, yeah. Just to see the average, to be honest, I think.
The website's obviously updating because it's taking a hell of a long time.
So I've got 39 so far, which, like I say, I think it's average at best.
We're going to try and come back to that in a sec.
I think, key players to think about in there, obviously, my 2 transfers this week, massive payoffs. Spent -4 doing Alonso out for Baines, who got me 12 assists, 3 baps, happy days. And I did Firmino out for Jesus. Obviously, again, 3 backs and a goal for Jesus.
Firmino out for Jesus, yeah, nice. Yeah, so nice.
It's worked really well for me so far this week.
Talk us through the Baines thing then, because you sat here on the last blog and you said, I'm thinking about getting rid of Alonso for Baines, and I think unanimously...
No, I've done it.
You've done it, and I think unanimously we all sat here and went, you for real? What's going on? I mean, Alonso, all right, banned this week, but back for the double, and actually Chelsea looking, I think, back-to-back clean sheets now, so looking a bit more solid than they have done previously. To get in Baines, who's not got the double next week. So what was your thinking there? Or was it just because it was, he was in that price bracket?
Yeah. Well,
and it sort of made sense?
A couple of reasons behind it. So firstly, I was genuinely concerned that I wouldn't have enough defenders this week.
Some of the guys are saying you sound a bit distant on the mic. So what I'm going to try and do... I think you do. So it could be because of this different mic. It could be this different mic I'm going to use. So put your T over there. Look, let's get T out of the way. Let's make sure that we don't put the... laptop in front of the thing, but hopefully that mic is now a bit more central.
Is that better?
Yeah, hopefully that's better. Okay. Or just speak up a little bit,
whatever
you want. Yeah.
So nobody ever tells me to talk louder, do they?
Yeah, guys, careful what you wish for, by the way.
I'm normally very loud. What was I saying? Baines. So there was 2 reasons behind it. One, I was genuinely concerned that I wouldn't have enough defenders this week. So obviously with Alonso being banned, I also was worried about Robertson as a rotation risk, and I was worried about Mustafi as a rotation risk. Actually, what happened?
Which you spot on with both of them.
I got them both right.
Yeah, spot on.
I didn't play either Robertson or Mustafi. And if I'd had Alonso as well, I would have had no defenders, particularly as Chilwell got naught.
Leicester look so on the beach, don't they, right now? We're going to come to them later on.
I kind of thought, right, I need a defender for this week who's going to play. The reason I downgraded Alonso in the end was because I needed some money to make that Firmino to Jesus jump. So I needed to free up some money. The best way I could do that with my defence was to get rid of Alonso. Now, I could have done Alonso to Azpilicueta or somebody like that, and that would have I would have had enough to do the Firmino, because I think I was only 0.1 or 0.2 shy, so I would have had enough to do it that way.
Sure.
But I just thought what I would rather do is have $1 million-ish left in the bank, in order that if Lingard doesn't start or Sonny doesn't start, and I fear that they're not going to play in both the doubles.
And they're potentially both rotation risks as well, right?
I wanted at least $1 million that I could upgrade, which meant I needed to come down by a certain amount. And I looked at who was in that category, and I could have gone for a Newcastle defender, because they've got a double next week and they had a nice-ish looking fixture this week. But if I'm honest,
but you fancied West Brom as well. You were saying West Brom, yeah.
West Brom against Newcastle, and I was 100% right. And I don't fancy Newcastle against Spurs. So basically, I was talking about bringing them in for a Newcastle player for 1 game of a double, and I didn't see the point. And I looked at the fixtures that Everton had, and I thought, well, it's Huddersfield this week. I fancy them, and it's Southampton next week. I fancy them.
Sure.
And Baines is an attacking player. So he might not get a clean sheet, but he could get me an assist. So he seemed like a good option.
All right, very good. Well, very good. So talk us through the rest of your teams. Obviously, Baines has come in. Your Burnley defender, and I think most of us are on one Burnley defender. Yeah. So I think everyone unanimously, I think, is pretty happy with that. Jesus obviously good for 9. I think he got 2 bonus points as well, or maybe even 3. I think he got 3, didn't he? I think Sterling was probably the one to have, given the 3 assists and the 2 bonus points. However, Jesus is a very, very good option. If you've got both, I want to hear from you in the live chat. Fair play. It's a risky strategy going with 2 or 3 City attackers, but I think you need it now, don't you?
I feel like Sterling and Jesus aren't a risk. They're the least of the risks, I think. I certainly think Jesus
That's it. I think they're the least risky potentially. I think they still are risky, but the least risky.
You know, I would have done Sterling. The idea was to partly have that 1.5 million in order that I could do an upgrade to Sterling. That was the point.
Sure.
So I could have done it last week. I decided actually I didn't want to make a -8 here. I'd rather just stick on my -4. And I sort of... Well, it depends what happens with Son, doesn't it, tomorrow, as to whether that's the right decision or the wrong decision. But I don't feel I'm in too bad a position for the double next week. I know I'm definitely making 2 transfers, so I'll have another 4-point hit this week. I don't think I'm going to make 3, so I don't think I'll go for an 8.
Okay. And actually, Jamal and it's Lord Vader and Ahmed Hussein are saying Sterling got 1 bonus point. So I thought he got 2, maybe he dropped a bit.
No, he got 1 because he missed so many, didn't he?
And that was the thing, wasn't it? Although he got 3 assists, and Twitter was full of, he got 3 assists and he played well. How can he get,
No, he was wasteful again.
He was very wasteful in front of goal, wasn't he? Not clinical enough. And it's interesting, wasn't it? Because actually that, the way that he was getting in behind and the assists were all very, very good assists, but just, I don't know, he just didn't have his shooting boots on, did he? He just couldn't get those goals when he wanted to.
No, I think that's right. And I think, Sterling... I would have loved, look, don't get me wrong, I'd have loved to have had Sterling, but Gameweek's not over for me yet. Got 2 to go. Obviously, my captain's on Kane, and at the moment, again, that was another thing. I got a lot of abuse for the Baines thing. I got more abuse as well for the captain and Kane thing, because everyone, because I had other good options. Obviously, I had Jesus and I had Salah. There were 3 really strong captain choices I had in that game, and I just followed my heart, to be honest. It wasn't a head decision. It was a massive heart decision.
Sure.
We just got to see if it pays off.
Sure. Okay. A couple of the guys are staying. You still sound a bit distant. So what we're going to do is we're going to bear with us, guys, and we're going to change the mics to different mics. 2 seconds. I'll go silent for 2 seconds. Okay, and we're back. So hopefully that might be like really loud now. If that's really loud, tell us, guys. It looks quite loud, doesn't it?
Well, it looks like it's hitting the red a lot, yeah.
Looks like it's kind of going up into the red. That does look loud. Guys, tell us in the live stream what that sounds like. If that sounds really bad and blowing your headphones, let us know.
Somebody say something.
Loud. All right. Okay, we're turning it back. We're turning it back. Okay, but better that that was too loud. Sorry guys, we won't do that then. We won't do that.
I'll just talk a little bit louder. Oh yeah, because mine doesn't go yellow. Look, I need to just speak up a bit, and then if I talk a bit louder, is that better?
You need to project your voice a little bit more, dear.
Okay,
you need to go on one of those training courses where you project your voice, shoulders back, chest out, and project your voice. You need to go on one of those.
I'm a lady. You're very softly spoken.
See, look, you're down in the sort of half. So when I talk, we're up in the yellows, you see. So we're not blowing the guys' headphones, but at the same time, they can hear us. They can hear me. Whereas when you talk,
right.
See?
Okay.
This is weird, isn't it?
Right, I will try and talk a bit louder. And hopefully that will make a difference.
Jeff, you're both audible, so we will cope. Brilliant, thanks, Jeff. Sounds a bit distorted. Mike has just gone loud. Sam's laugh is loud. Well, there you go.
There you are. That's why I laugh loudly, but I don't talk loudly. That's what we've learned.
Well, Jeff is saying turn Sam's mic up, which I can only imagine is a reference to one of the more hilarious moments this year when you thought the webcam had 2 microphones, and you said, well, 1 each, which is still... And I think Jeff, fair play to Jeff, he's gone back and looked through some of the live streams and he's picking out where the different highlights are.
Pretty much all of them, I think.
And to be honest, I don't know how long the highlights video is going to be. What, 20 seconds, 25 seconds? It ain't going to be that long, is it? Surely.
It's you, like dressed as Madonna, doing your little
all dance, of that, yeah, all of that, yeah.
All right, guys. So that's my game week. I think it's average at best. But like I say, Captain Kane and Sonny to go tomorrow. Let's see.
Okay, very good, very good. Let's have a look at the live stream regulars league at the end, because hopefully it will have updated and the scores will be sorted out and stuff. So let's have a look at some of where the FPL points came this week. So I want to start with today's game. So hold on, let's go back. Let's talk about the City game, because I thought watching City today was just amazing. I mean, they played exactly as we thought they were going to play, with the free reins. I actually thought West Ham were going to give them a bit more of a game.
Did you?
Well, West Ham need the points. I don't know. I just thought, City are going to go there. They're going to... I thought they would concede a goal. I didn't think they would keep a clean sheet. But I thought the Hammers might give them a bit more of a game. And they just didn't. They need the points, West Ham. But, fair play to City. If you've got City assets in this week, 100% you're keeping them for next week. And one of the questions in the poll, actually, so we've got a few polls, guys. Look at the little eye in the top right-hand corner. I've gone over the top on polls today.
I mean, you've got one job and you've taken it literally.
Well, that is why I forgot to change the title on the beginning of the YouTube thing, is because I've got so much time invested in doing polls. So talk us through the polls then tonight. What have we got? And by the way, I probably changed it since I told you. So
you've told me to write these down, but now they're probably wrong. Is that what you're saying?
Go on.
Right, so the ones you've got then, if you're triple captaining for 37, who is it? Kane, Sterling, Jesus or Salah?
If you've got the triple captainship.
If you've got it there.
I think that's the one I changed.
What is the point?
So I changed that to, because actually El Stato was saying on Twitter, I asked the guys to come.
What is the point?
I asked the guys to, what polls you want to see on tonight's live stream, and Chris El Stato said, which chip are you playing in 37? If you've got a chip, which are you playing? Bench boost or triple captain? So that's what I've changed it to. So
I'm so glad you told me.
So that first one, ignore that what you just said.
Right,
What's the second one?
I'll say the second one. Let's see if it's right or not. So apparently the second one is which is the best Chelsea asset for 37.
I think I kept that one.
Oh,
yeah, I think I kept that one. And the reason I asked that one is because I think last couple of weeks Chelsea smell something. They smell something. I mean, Liverpool dropping points to West Brom.
In 37.
Well, no, yeah, but we've just drawn at West Brom and drawn at Stoke, and we've obviously got one eye on Europe. And Chelsea have got back-to-back wins now, back-to-back clean sheets. I think they can smell something there, and they've got to go to what's their double? They've got to go to Huddersfield or something, right? Yeah, Huddersfield, I believe.
I just realised you've made your notes on a napkin.
I have made my notes on a napkin. This is how we roll here at the FPL family. Notes on a napkin. So Chelsea.
This is how you roll. I make mine in a proper book.
I haven't got a proper book, have I? I haven't got a proper book. So Chelsea have got Huddersfield at home, which is a really nice fixture. Assuming they win that, which I think they will, a lovely fixture in the double. Then it's the Liverpool game, and actually that takes on massive significance if they can beat us in that game, because then it all goes down to the last day. Now we've got a nice home fixture on that last day. But goodness me, Chelsea are right in it, in my opinion. Right in it. So that's why I wanted to know on the polls, if you're going for a Chelsea asset in that double game week 37, who are you going for? Okay. Next one.
Which team will score the most points in 37? Do you mean fantasy Premier League team?
Which Premier League team will get the most in 37? So I think I've picked out City, Spurs, United, Chelsea, and one other. I think maybe Southampton, maybe Swansea. Those are the teams I think where we're focusing our efforts for double game week 37. They're the ones where we're probably going to have 2 or 3 players. So that's the question I was asking. Which of those Premier League teams is going to get the most FPL points collectively? Where are the points going to be? Which team?
Best differential for 37.
Yeah, but did I give you the list?
I just think this list is ridiculous.
Why?
Because Mahrez is in it.
It's a list of differentials. If I wanted a list of who's the top points picks, I would have gone top points picks.
Well, if I wanted a list of people that are on the beach, I'd put Mahrez on it.
That's why he's a differential.
He's not a differential, he's rubbish. Right, it's Morata, Mahrez, Sanchez, Ben Davis, who, by the way, and Gundogan.
Oh, well, there's a surprise. You fancied the Spurs one as a bit of a differential.
Gundogan as well.
Gundogan, okay. Well, I think Gundogan's not a bad chance. Yeah. So Morata, Mahrez, Sanchez, Ben Davis, or Gundogan. So who do you fancy there, guys, out of those as your best differential?
Surprise.
If, like Sam, you think that they're all awful picks, let us know in the live chat who your differential would be.
I don't think they're all awful picks, but I think Mahrez is potentially the worst fantasy pick of all.
He's really bad at the minute, isn't he?
Yes.
Really bad.
Has been for a few weeks since you got him. And the last one,
go on.
Tadic.
That's a bit uncalled for, wasn't it not? That's a bit uncalled for.
Right, has Mahrez done anything since you got him?
No, absolutely not. But that's because I've jinxed him. Frankly, the way that my season's gone, that's because I've jinxed him. The last question is about Dusan Tadic. So a lot of people on Twitter going, "Oh, Tadic now an option for game week 37." In my view, to go whole, quite right. But in my view, he's on absolutely naffle for weeks and weeks and weeks.
List?
Because I've given him his. What's wrong with you tonight? What's wrong with you tonight? I've given him his own question. That's why. Oh wow!
Easy to wind up.
I've given him his own question.
Funny.
So Tadic, nothing and nothing and nothing for weeks and weeks and weeks. Suddenly 2 goals tomorrow, and everyone's going, "Oh, I'll draft him in. I might get him in." So for me, absolutely fool's gold. But a lot of people are thinking gold. So guys, tell us what you think. Good pick or bad pick? Gold or fool's gold for 37?
Well, it's coming up against Lay and Baines in the next game, so...
Yeah, outrageous. So that's the polls, guys. Get onto the top right-hand corner. Click the little eye. Tell us what you think in the polls, and we'll review those at the end if we remember. Let's have a chat about we've talked a little bit about the City game.
I just think it's worth just saying about City. So
it is, absolutely.
It's worth just talking about what Pep said after the game. So Pep was talking.
Yes, I think you're right.
Talking, wasn't he? And I'll get it wrong because I always do. But he was basically talking about how they want to get the most points ever.
Yeah, run for this record, run for that record. Yeah. We're 3 points away from the top points of any Premier League teams. Yeah. All that, isn't he?
And since they've won the league, I think what's been interesting to note is that he's played full strength sides from the start. I mean, there's been the odd change in defence and that sort of thing, but fundamentally, with the odd rest for Sané last week and obviously David Silva this week because he's in Spain, but there's only been minor changes to a pretty much full strength City sides, and then when they get to about 60-70 minutes and the game is won, then we see one or two. Well, last week we did get 3 kids or people that need game time, so Mendy last week and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I think from an FPL point of view, what he said at the end of that game is really reassuring because it's basically saying we're going to play full strength because we want to win. We want to win records. We don't want to just have won the league. We want to.
They want to smash it.
We want to smash it.
Yeah.
And I think from that point of view, as a fantasy owner, that makes me feel a little bit more confident in picking more than just Jesus as a fantasy asset because I'm starting to see that I think Sterling's going to get 60 minutes in a game and he might go off at 60 minutes and get replaced by one of the kids, but fundamentally, I mean, look at what damage they can do in 60 minutes,
And I think that's the point, isn't it? As like you say, that this kind of squad players, the players that we were all fearing would come in for the Sterlings and the Jesuses and the Sanés, are all making appearances at sort of 60, 70 minutes.
Yeah.
Does that, the fact that Sterling might get 2 times 60 minutes rather than 2 times 90 minutes, does that detract from him as a double game week asset next week?
Like take Jesus today, for example, played 66 minutes, 9 points, a goal and 3 bonus points. I'd take that if he did that. If he did that in 2 games, it's 18 points. I'm well happy with that.
Yeah, and actually, if it was the other way around and he played, get my maths right, 24 minutes, you'd still back him to do something, even if he came off the bench. You'd still back him, wouldn't you? Because he's up against potentially a tired. Whoever it is they're playing in the double game week. And their double game week fixtures don't get any better than that. I mean, that is 2 of the plumbest fixtures you're ever going to see.
And let's remember that at the end of that Huddersfield game in that double, they're getting the trophy. So. And
they will want that to be a part of the Etihad, won't they? They will want
it. So they're going to get the trophy in that game.
I'm worried for Huddersfield a bit in that game.
Yeah, I do. But I think from an FPL manager point of view, certainly with the attacking players, I think the City defenders are a bit of an anomaly because there's so many good ones there.
Yeah.
But actually there is more of a risk there. Like Company didn't play today. I don't even think he was on the bench today.
No.
Otamendi was back today.
Played Laporte again though, didn't he?
Laporte was played again.
And again, so Laporte, I think of all of them. And we know what Pep's like with his kind of pet signings. We know that when he signs a player, he wants to get him in that team, wants them to do well. He wants them, with the exception of maybe Sterling, who has been a different player this year, and he put a lot of effort. You could see there's lots of viral videos and stuff about the effort he was putting into Sterling in pre-season. Laporte is one of those that he's bought in, wants him to do well. He's given him as much game time, I think, between now and the end of the season to really get not just Laporte used to playing in that side, but also to give him a feel for how he's going to fit and how he's going to work him into that team for next year. So of all of the defenders, I agree with you, rotation is going to be pretty rife. Not rotation, but it's going to be difficult to pick the right one.
Well, there's going to be swaps going on in the defence.
Yeah.
In a way that there isn't necessarily up front. And
But of them all, Laporte feels a bit more nailed on. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
But I think from a fantasy point of view, we should kind of take heart from what Pep said today. It makes you feel a little bit better. I certainly think that given the game time, given the 2 games that City have got in 37, we should be looking at two City assets off the back of what we've seen today. I just to see how you can go into that without 2.
I think you're absolutely right. So from your perspective, which City players are you taking into 37?
I've got Jesus already.
Yes.
Sterling will be the other one.
I think going into 37 without Sterling is tricky.
And I just think that, given my position in the overall standings, I really do not want to be outside the top 10k now. I want to finish inside that top 10k. So it kind of, for me, it's almost a hold. Obviously, I'd like to get higher up that table, but it's also a holding thing as well. I have to cover myself. Lots of people have got Sterling. He's probably the most popular of the City midfield.
And what about Sterling and I know what you're going to say to this, Sterling as a triple captain option. Now, I know where your triple captain is going, so don't answer this with your heart, but in your head, he's got to be an option,
Yeah,
right?
oh, 100%.
Got to be an option.
I think all City players are options, definitely. I think Jesus is definitely a triple captain option. You only got to look
Jesus is a triple captain option.
Yeah, I think so. I think you've
It
only
could
got
be,
you've only got to look at the two fixtures without taking us out of the equation. What City have managed to achieve so far this season, and just looking at the two fixtures that they have, their assets have to be an option. When you then add into it the prolific nature of their goal scoring over the course of this season and how easily they've won the league, absolutely, triple captain on a City asset seems the sensible thing to do.
And I actually think we're going to get results similar to what we saw today. We're going to see City kind of running free, 3, 4, 5 goals to 1.
I think
to 1. And that's my concern with the defenders, is that because they are playing with that kind of laissez-faire attitude, and we know that their defence is a bit, is a bit prone every now and again. They're not infallible at the back, are they? I mean, they're an amazing side, but not infallible at the back. They can concede a goal. So that's why I'm not going to invest in any City defenders for the double. But absolutely, I'll be investing up front. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's sensible.
So that's Manchester City.
I'm presuming everyone's just agreeing with us.
I think so. Well, let's have a look at the live chat and see what you guys are saying about City, if anything at all. Let's have a look. Let's see. Hope Silva will be back for the trophy awarding match. Jeff is saying. I think he will be.
He'll be back.
I think he will be. Lock-on Kun is saying. So Aid is in. Thank you for joining, Aid. Company and Ottomendable players. Pep will want them to lift the trophy. That's an interesting perspective, isn't it?
So I think that Huddersfield game is the one game that's left where we will just see the four big.
Do you think full
defenders,
strength,
full strength,
party time?
Everybody's on the pitch. Everybody starts. They go through their guard of honour, knowing at the end of that game it's like a big party. That's the game. Here's best 11 players.
So what's City's 2 games? They've got Huddersfield and somebody else. So
I'll have to flip back in my notes. I didn't write these up though.
Okay, well don't worry. So say that was. Don't worry about it. Say that they didn't have a double and it was just a single with Huddersfield at home. You'd still invest, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
The lifting the trophy, the party, all the rest of it. Yeah. You would. The fact they've got another nice fixture.
Yeah.
To go alongside Huddersfield is like, well, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
That Huddersfield fixture could be like a cricket score.
Totally agree.
So let's see what you guys are saying. Brighton. Okay, Brighton. So again, that's lovely. I mean, Jamal's saying 3 City is a must. I think you're right, Jamal. I think you're spot on with that.
I think so. I think you're right. It's just, for me, it would be 3, unless you were going Edison, potentially, but it would be 3 City attacking players, not a defender. Okay.
Andy Golf Pro, thank you for joining, Andy. He's saying, should have gone for Jesus to Lukaku for -4. Welcome to my world, mate. I was in exactly the same position as that. Didn't do it. Trying to be sensible never works. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Hope KDB continues his Salah-like form at the Etihad. He's good against KDB, wasn't he? What a player. What a player. Fantastic.
Absolute talent, that boy.
Absolutely fantastic. Fantasy Football Academy, hoping Company is back from injury. I hope so too. For his sake and for City's sake, you want Company playing, being part of the team that wins against Huddersfield to win the trophy. It's been a nice thing for him as a player, personally, wouldn't it? Sean Tan is saying KDB does not provide the same consistent returns as Sterling and Jesus over the past 5 game weeks. I'm with you on that. I mean, KDB is been a bit of an enigma this year, isn't he? Because you can't doubt his ability. I mean, apart from Salah, he's the best player in the league, isn't he? PFA Player of the Year, everything. But from an FPL perspective, Jesus and Sterling are the ones, aren't they? For the last few weeks, surely.
We talked
very quickly. Do you want to move on?
Very long ago in this season, right back at the beginning of the season, about how one of the problems with KDB as a fantasy asset was he often assists the assist. And we've seen that a lot this season.
Absolutely.
He is fantastic footballer, and you watch him and he is unbelievable. But from a fantasy point of view, he's often the one missing out on the points because he's assisting Salah, Sterling or Sané.
He can come at Liverpool if he wants. I'd welcome him.
They're assisting Jesus or Aguero or whoever it was that was up front. So yeah.
Just wait for everybody to say it'd be more likely that Salah goes to City. That's exactly what's happening. A very, very quick word on the Hammers, because they have got a double too, and they've got a nice fixture, I think, Leicester away, as well as another one. Let's have a look, actually, because the Hammers I didn't think were too bad for a while today. That's all right, I got them here. So Leicester away, followed by United, which is a bit more difficult potentially. So Arnautovic, Lanzini, you thinking about any of those guys, or have we just not got space in our squad for those guys?
So I was thinking about Arnautovic. My thinking probably,
especially Leicester have just got smashed, and West Ham still need the points. Leicester are like whipping boys right now.
I really was thinking about an outage, but it gets to a stage where, you know, I've only got, it's not like I've got my bench boost left. If I had my bench boost left, then I think really carefully about spending more points and doing more transfers. I've only got 11 players that I can play. So I have to be really careful with, you know, making transfers for players that, you know, who's not going to play? If I've got Salah and Sterling and all these, you know, what
suddenly you're benching one of them, that'd be stupid, wouldn't it?
Ridiculous. So yes, I think if you've got an outage, I still think that is a good pick. Going
he looked pretty lively against, so didn't he? He was giving the centre halves a bit of a game.
Yeah, particularly like Lee said for that Leicester game. I'm not so sure about the United game. United really do know how to defend very well, so if they need to, they can shut up shop.
So Shashank is saying Arnautovic to score a hat-trick against Leicester.
Could happen.
I'm not
Leicester
sure.
are terrible at the moment. Did you not see Palace put 5 past them?
I did. I absolutely did. But so Leicester and Sean Tanner saying Leicester are awful. It's hard to disagree with that.
They're not even. They're not in the country. They might as well have all just gone on holiday.
Okay.
Just leave Maris to stand in the goal by himself.
All right. So let's move on to the other game from today, which was United versus Arsenal. I was saying to one of the regulars that tunes into these and that I regularly talk to on Twitter, Prashant, and I was saying to him, I put a tweet out that just said, look, I don't know how United do it. I genuinely don't know how they do it. They don't.
You were like, how?
They didn't look great. The game was a bit of a non-event. It was definitely not a classic. I mean, you go back through the years of the United Arsenal games and the 8-2s and things like that. There's been some absolute belters in the past. Today was a bit of a bad game, a bold game.
But you've got to look at the Arsenal team that he put out today. And I know
he's got an eye on Europe, hasn't he? That's why he's done that.
Well, I think he's got both eyes on Europe. But it was never. When you looked at that Arsenal team, did you really think it was going to be an absolute worldie of a game?
No, I didn't actually. I saw that team and I actually thought, United have got this in the bag. But I don't know. I just expected a bit of a better game. Nevertheless, we didn't get one. Lukaku off on 56 minutes or whatever it was, a bit of a disaster. Lingard was on the periphery of the game the whole time. I actually thought Sanchez played pretty well. And then actually Martial. I like Martial, by the way. If there's a couple of players from United I'd welcome at Liverpool, I like Martial on the left there. I mean, we could do with a player like that for when Mane's injured.
Yeah.
I still like Rashford. I have no idea why Rashford doesn't get much game time at United.
Well, he might do now Lukaku's injured.
I think it was precautionary, the Lukaku thing. We've got to wait for the diagnosis, but it looked as if it was an ankle. It looked as if he kind of walked off rather than had to be carried off.
Okay.
So I think it'd be okay, but nevertheless, Lukaku to Jesus, as FPL Prince is now saying on the live chat, seems a no-brainer. He's absolutely right.
Well, I think if you don't do Lukaku to Jesus, you're a bit crazy.
I think you're possibly right. But United, without looking great, without looking spectacular, without looking full of flair, another 3 points. You've got to hand it to them. They know how to get a result. And here we go again. Ashley Young, cross, Fellaini header. I mean, come on, how many times have we seen that from United? Stick the big man up top, they get a goal.
It's tough though, isn't it, with United? Because I think for me, United, they didn't look good today, but they did look. They just know how to get a job done. That's one thing I will say about United. Having watched them live last week and then having watched them on TV again today, they know how to finish a job. If they need
efficient as hell, aren't they?
Absolutely. Yeah. And credit where credit's due with Mourinho. And I don't often say nice things about Mourinho, but he knows how to get a job done. If he needs to win a game, he'll win a game.
Okay. So Jerome Hughes is saying, is Fellaini now essential?
Fellaini?
I like that.
I mean, they've got Brighton.
Final Richie saying Fellaini and Smalling the best attacking options at United. Funnily enough, he could be right. I mean, I know Pogba popped up with a goal again. I mean, FPL wise, who are you thinking in 37, or are you not? You got Lingard,
I've got Lingard, and I don't know why I've got Lingard. Actually, I do know why I've got Lingard. I've got Lingard because I needed somebody in the 6 million bracket when I was upgrading somebody else.
Sure.
Kane,
You're going to keep him for 37?
Oh, I don't know. Because I'm so concerned that he is not going to play both games. And it goes against everything we've just said about the City players. That, you get those City players on the pitch for even half an hour each game.
Yeah.
They'll probably do something for you.
Yeah.
Lingard is not that sort of player. He's just because he comes on for half an hour, he'll just get one. So. But
as soon as everyone takes him out, he scores goals. That's what he does. That's Lings.
And the other problem is that they've got nice games. So who is it? They've got Brighton and West Ham. It's like, I don't. I mean, got De Gea, obviously he's going to play. That's fine. We've got Lingard. It feels like I can't do I'm not going to do Lingard to another United player because all that's going to happen is I'll be trolled by them. The one that I get rid of will do.
So you're keeping him and De Gea for the double?
Definitely De Gea. I need to, in my mind, work out what I do. I need to get Sterling. So it's either going to be Lingard or Son or Izquierdo that goes for.
Okay. Well, we'll come to transfers later in the week. You've got plenty of time to think about this. Don't worry about it. Plenty of time to ponder.
And then I've got to reponder everything again.
I don't think so. So Salah might get the ban. I mean, clearly we've got the Roma game as well that he's got to get through unscathed. So you've got to think about that. So I think if you can, it's wise to hold those transfers potentially.
It's just wait
until after the Roma game. However, if you want those City assets and they're going to be rising in price because they're going to be very popular, maybe it's worth an early transfer. Maybe it is. For me, I'll be keeping Lingard simply because I've got other fires to put out.
I think that's right.
I want to get Jesus in. I want to get rid of Mahrez. I mean, there's 2 transfers straight away. I probably need something in defence. I've got 2. Yeah, I've got 2. Callum Wilson, still in my team. Not sure what the hell's going on there. Still in my team. Maybe a swap for Jordan Ayew, potentially. But listen,
What's Bournemouth even playing?
Just Bournemouth. They're another one on the beach, but Wilson has been on the beach for about 6 months. Absolutely awful. So that's Man United covered. Arsenal, I think have got a double, but it's a middling double, isn't it? Let's have a look at their fixtures for the double. Burnley and Leicester.
No, it's easy. They've got Leicester.
So, I mean, on paper that looks nice, right? But again, they're going to potentially be thinking about Europe.
Well, Europe's on Thursday, isn't it? So
Europe's on Thursday.
That will be done one way or the other.
That's true.
Now, I think with Arsenal, there is a very high, Arsenal fans, possibility that they'll be out of Europe on Thursday night.
It's not looking good for them with the away goal. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Even as a Spurs fan, I genuinely do hope I'm wrong with that because it's always nice for an English club to do well in Europe. But I worry. I don't know.
Okay, all right. So I'm not dying to get on Arsenal assets. I don't think for game week 37, and I think there's other options in there that I think we could go for. There's bound to be 1 or 2 that just pop up and do the business. Like,
who would you go for?
I don't know. That's the thing, isn't it? It's not obvious.
Because there's Aubameyang, who I think probably is your best asset, but then you're probably going to want Kane and Jesus, aren't you? So you can't afford Kane, Jesus, and Aubameyang.
It's difficult, isn't it? No, I don't think so. Having a front 3 where the 3 big hitters, your midfield is going to suffer, isn't it? You can't have an Eriksen, you can't have a Sterling and a Sano, you can't have a Mahrez. So there's lots to consider there. But for me, Arsenal, I'm not dying to go there with my 2 transfers.
I've got Mustafi still, who I'll obviously be playing because
I think you're right with that.
I think I'm okay with him.
Yeah.
Should be fairly safe. He's had a rest this weekend, didn't even travel with the squad, so he should be playing again for those 2 in the double. So I'm not worried about him, but I just don't feel that there's any need for me to get another Arsenal defender.
Okay.
Any player.
Okay. Jeff is saying, Lee, do you have any idea how many streams feature the phrase, I got to get rid of Wilson? For the last 2 months, pretty much every stream, I reckon. Pretty much every stream. And Rivershan is saying, Sam's face when you said you still have Wilson.
I don't understand why you still got Wilson.
This is why I'm down in the doldrums and you're up in 8K, because I've got Callum Wilson still stinking on the team.
Week you said, I don't know why I've got Wilson. Should have been the week that Wilson went.
So where do we go next? Let's not talk about all of these games.
I think we should talk about Palace. Actually.
I think we should because single game week, but probably one of the form teams in the league right now. I mean, let's have a look at the form right now. I mean, Palace have got to be right up there, right? Looking really, really good. I mean, Zaha playing in that sort of striker role now. So a win against Huddersfield, then lost to Liverpool, no shame in that. Draw against Bournemouth, beat Brighton, drew against Watford, and then smashed Leicester. So, the Liverpool game where actually they could have won that. If you remember, that was the one where Benteke missed a glaring miss at 0-0 or at 1-0, and it could have been very different, that result. But actually, on the whole, not looking too bad. So we sat here a few vlogs ago saying at the end of 34, 34, bit of an anticlimax of a double game week. We shouldn't be ignoring the single game weekers. Should we be ignoring Milivojevic? Should we be ignoring Zaha? Should we be ignoring Tompkins? Should we be ignoring Benteke even? I mean, what do you think?
Well, so Millie
Zaha being the main one. I mean, he's one you shouldn't ignore, I don't think.
Right, so let me just deal with Millie for a start. Millie was frustrating in that game. He's one of those players, when a team scores big and your player blanks like that, it's frustrating. However, I still think Millie is a good asset longer term. I know.
So notorious nerd on the stream is saying Palace have good bench players for 37. So is it worth having Miljokovic there? Possibly doesn't play in your starting 11, but he's a bench player.
Yeah.
He can come in, can't he? Right.
I think that's right. I think players like Van Arnau. Why not? Zaha, definitely. Zaha probably trolled me, hasn't he? I've got him in my free hit team, nothing. The week after, when he goes back out my team, a goal and an assist and 3 bonus points. So annoying.
It's always going to happen.
Always, yeah. MacArthur, a goal and an assist. Loftus-Cheek, I talked about him last week, about how I thought he was coming back in, post-injury, looking positive again, gets a goal.
They were saying on Sky Sports News, before we come on here, when they have this, if you guys have seen this on Sky Sports News, this World Cup watch.
If you haven't, don't bother watching it.
Why?
Well, because it was Dennis Wise tonight, and it's Emil Heskey, wherever that is. I mean, Emil Heskey, can there not get anyone better?
What, the star pundits?
What? They're not star pundits. They're not pundits for a start, they're just ex-players. They're not managers.
If the guys couldn't hear you before, they definitely can now. You've gone up an octave right
there. They'd be better off to get me on there to talk about who should go to the World Cup.
Have you not heard? I'm a top 8k in FPL. Get me on.
I mean, I've got more pedigree than Emil Heskey.
But the point I was going to make was Dennis Wise was on there talking about how England are going to get to the semi-finals or the quarter-finals. I was like, oh my goodness me, he's the reason that all the players have this pressure. And he was talking about some of the, because England have now got. We're going off at an England tangent. We need to come back to FPL very quickly.
Loftus-Cheek.
But he was talking about, John Joe Shelby should go, Milner should come out of retirement because, Ox is injured and Lallana's injured, that sort of thing. And then he started talking about Loftus-Cheek as being a bit of a wildcard pick for the England squad. I mean, come on. I mean, if you're going to have somebody from that single game week Palace team, you ain't picking Loftus-Cheek. At a stretch, you're picking Millie. And if you fancy him, you're going Zaha, surely.
Depends, doesn't it? Because
Loftus-Cheek. Let's move on. Move on.
Because he's cheap. So if you're looking for somebody you want to bench in that double, because we probably are talking about a player as your first sub to come on, because most of your other players, you're going to spend a lot of money, aren't you, on City assets, probably Spurs assets, probably United assets. Why not? Why not Loftus-Cheek? Why not?
Oh, because he hasn't played for ages. He's rubbish. Moving on.
I'll raise you a goal.
Because we're about 10 minutes from the end, so we need to talk about a few other teams. What else can we talk about? Who else has got a double? Saints, Southampton. Is there a bit of a end of season push there? Unlucky against Chelsea. Good result of the weekend. Nice fixtures coming up. They've got the fixtures to get out of this. We said this on the last vlog. If El Stato's on, I want to hear
Everton and
from you guys as to what Saints can do in the last couple of weeks. Can they get out of it? You don't think so?
Sorry, Stato. I don't think so.
You don't think Saints can get out of it?
I really like Southampton. I hope they do. But I just don't see it. I think you look at that. Well, I've got Baines, haven't I, to play against them, so I hope not. Southampton, I don't know. They have looked better. They have looked better. It's just, I don't know. Maybe I'm being unfair. Maybe actually, it's just historic over this season that I'm so kind of negative about Southampton assets. And maybe actually, it's not such a bad idea because they will allow you to have some money free to get other people who could be quite useful, I suppose.
I think there's one or two in there that's worth a bit of a hit. I mean, we're all going to be thinking about
Tadic, I guess.
Oh, no. He's been rubbish for weeks just because he had one good game. But there's lots. So Charlie Austin, I think, is a decent option. Cedric Suarez, I think, is a decent option. McCarthy, even in goal, just in the live chat, is decent if you're looking for a cheap goalie. But I think we're all going to be thinking about which City, Spurs, Man U, Chelsea, possibly Swansea, possibly Arsenal assets we're going to get. Possibly West Ham. Is there any space for Saints in that double game week squad for 37? Is there even any space?
Well, I was thinking about getting Swansea assets, so that would mean I have assets for the two teams that they're playing. So I hope they're not going to do
Possibly not. All right. Well, I think there's a bit of a renaissance going on at Southampton. Can they get out of it? I don't know. I think it's a little bit too little, too late.
West Brom and Rondon to survive.
Oh, God, West Brom never going to survive. Jamal's made a good point about Bertrand there. Bertrand was playing the very advanced position for Southampton. I think they talked about them having a front three with Tadic. Was it Austin, I think, started? Or maybe Long, so I think it might have been Austin. Tadic, Austin and Bertrand, I think, were playing that kind of front three.
Bertrand?
Yeah, so he's playing in a very advanced role at the weekend. So I think, as Peter Gray is saying, sticking with Austin, not a bad shout. As Jamal's saying, Bertrand.
If you've got one, don't get rid.
Well, the point I was putting out there when we started about Southampton was do you think there's some options there?
Yeah.
And you went, no. And now you're saying,
no, I think there are some options there. Do I want any of them? No.
Okay, all right,
there are options. There definitely are.
You're definitely on one tonight. What's going on?
I've been doing real to this.
Oh, dear.
All I remember was that, yes.
Been quite strict.
Have I? The teacher is coming out.
The teacher is coming out.
Oh, dear. All I meant was that.
Are there options? Yes. Do I want one? No. Go on.
But that's how it feels.
Okay. No Southampton
Maybe
options.
Bertrand. I do like a bit of Bertrand in my fantasy teams, to be fair.
You do a bit of a Bertrand lover,
I
to be fair. Last couple of seasons.
Maybe
I get that.
Maybe I'll get rid of him and I'll get him in then.
Maybe.
I don't want to take another 4-point hit though, really.
All right, so let's have a very quick chat about Chelsea as well. We've spoken briefly, or I spoke briefly about how I think they definitely smell blood at Anfield. They definitely are smelling blood there. They know that Liverpool got one eye on Europe. We've slipped up last couple of games, to say the least. Chelsea back-to-back clean sheets. I think they've gone back to basics a little bit. What do you think about their assets? Willian benched this game week, which upset a lot of FPL managers, of course.
Then came 1-for-1.
But what I will say is that the Hazard passed the eye test the weekend, or yesterday. I thought he looked very, very good. Got the assist, so pretty happy with that. No bonus points, but I thought that he looked all right. He clearly loves playing with Giroud. There's something there between those two that there's not quite. It's not quite the same with Hazard and Morata. But Giroud and Hazard seem to be playing quite well. I almost get the feeling that Giroud's becoming a bit first choice there, by the way. Over £70 million worth of Morata, So is Hazard an option for next week? Yes, I think he is. But how do you get him in? I mean, he's very, very expensive, right? It's very expensive. So I think we're all looking at Willian as a potentially cheaper route, or sort of poor man's Hazard, if you like, into double game week 37. But you can't trust him now, surely.
Is it Willian or is it Fabregas?
Fabregas is like Tadic, though, is he not? I mean, he's done nothing for a long time. All of a sudden, gets a decent game, and we're all like, oh, we've got to have Fabregas.
I think those
rotation risk as well.
Well, that's what I mean, isn't it? So, is it Willian playing? Is it Fabregas playing? Are they both playing? Or is he playing Morata? Is he playing Giroud?
Yeah.
I just don't think, and this is my problem with Chelsea. I don't know who the best 11 are. I don't know who the starting 11 are. Now, I don't want a Chelsea defender against Liverpool because whatever happens in that game, Liverpool will score. So I don't see that Chelsea defensive assets are that great for the double. Of course, there's Aspilicueta and Alonso that, of course, could get an assist, could get a goal. They do those things. Yeah. But from a defensive point of view, I don't see them as that valuable. The forwards could be the midfielders and the attackers, but it's which one, and that's where my problem lies as a fantasy manager.
Okay, well, Obafemi in the live chat is saying Hazard or nobody.
It's so expensive.
Really good option, but he is expensive. Let's see what else. Rivershan is saying was shocked when Willian got benched. I was too. I think he's been one of their better players this season.
No, I agree.
So to be benched was a bit of a shock.
I guess the good thing about him being benched this game week is surely that means he plays the next two.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? You'd think so, but they've got a cup final to think about as well. I mean, is he going to rotate around? Make sure that he protects some of his players and rotate and keep them fresh for the cup final. I mean, that's all they've got to play for, right? So, saying that, they're playing for top 4 now as well, potentially. So, who knows? I think that Huddersfield at home game, I think there's going to be a few goals in that. I can see Chelsea doing all right. I think Giroud's going to be all right in that game. I don't know if I'm going to be getting him in for 37 on the basis that he might rotate with Morata. But if I was looking at Chelsea assets for 37, he would be up there in probably the top 3.
It's just for me, you're already with game week 37 approaching. We're already thinking about who's a risk in terms of rotation. There's a lot of risks that you're getting, even from your City, obviously, but from other teams as well. So to add a Chelsea player in the mix who's also a bit of a rotation risk just feels a little bit too far, especially when one of the games is Liverpool.
Okay, all right. And I think Fabregas, I mean, I saw it on Twitter earlier. Now, he can have these sort of last-minute splurges of assists at the end of the season. Do you remember at the end of last season, he got, in 4 games, 3 assists and a goal or something? So he has got this kind of bit of history there. He's got a bit of a reputation of going on a little bit of a last-minute splurge at the end of the season. So that's one to look out for. But I do think getting him in is a bit of a knee-jerk based on what we've just seen.
I think I tend to agree with
nevertheless. So Meister on the live chat is saying, what about Giroud? Absolutely, we've just touched on Giroud. Very, very good option. He and Hazard seem to have a much better understanding than him and Morata. So I like Giroud as a pick. Let's talk about their opponents, Swansea. We talked on the last vlog about how their shots on target, getting into dangerous positions, attempts on goal were all down. The stats didn't look good. despite Jordan Ayew looking like a good option as my Callum Wilson replacement for the double. And they've got nice fixtures, I think, Swansea for the double. They do look good, and they need the points. So
Bournemouth and Southampton.
Bournemouth and Southampton. So, I mean, these are key games.
6 pointers, they are.
These are massive, massive games. If Swansea are going to stay up, they're going to need to win those. So, I don't know if they... I mean, I think they should have been getting something out of that Chelsea game. I mean, that's part of the reason I didn't go for Chelsea this week, was because I thought Swansea would need to get something from that game. But their lack of threat in the final third is a bit of a worry. So, Wilson for Jordan Ayew, am I just out the frying pan into the fire there? I don't know if that's a very good swap. Swansea assets, are you thinking of any, contemplating any?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Is Carroll another option to think about getting back in? Because I mean, he was in everyone's team at the beginning of the season. Does he now come back onto the radar, Carroll?
Oh, Tom Carroll, bless him. No, I don't think so.
No.
Midfield. I'm thinking about Jordan Ayew, to be honest.
Okay.
Because Vardy's about as useful as a chocolate teapot at the moment.
That'll give you a bit of money to play around with as well, won't it? Yeah. Okay. I like your thinking.
So I'm thinking about that. I'm going into it with Jesus and Kane. I don't really need another striker, but why not? Why not? Okay. Jordan Ayew's got 2 nice-ish fixtures. Why not?
A quick shout out to a guy that I'd not heard before this week actually, but Connor Roberts played at right wing back for Swansea at the weekend. All right, no FPL returns. He's playing Chelsea, but he's 4.0 in the game.
I was going to say, is he
4.0. And the way that I actually watched the game. I missed the highlights on Match of the Day, but the way I was reading about it actually this morning, he was playing as a right wing back. So it wasn't like he was they didn't describe him as a right full back or a right back. He played as a right wing back. So that suggests he was getting forward a little bit. And you guys that have maybe watched the game or saw the highlights, let us know whether Connor Roberts passed the eye test. Because with some of the injuries that are going on in that Swansea back line, he's got to be potentially an option, hasn't he, for 4.0? Maybe. I don't know. Never seen the guy, but at 4.0, what's to lose, right? What's to lose?
Okay.
All right, so...
But just before we start, because we don't really need to talk about Liverpool, Stoke, Burnley and Brighton boring games. But we do need to give a shout out to West Brom, who, like I promised you all.
I keep saying every vlog, they're dead, and they just refuse to die. Don't they? They refuse to die.
I just think,
I keep going.
Yeah, West Brom. Credit to them.
This is an FPL vlog though. You've got to be talking about who from West Brom you're bringing in. They've got no double.
Get Rondon.
Oh, come off it.
No, I'm not saying we should get on West Brom Masters, but I just wanted to give a little shout out to them for trying hard.
Okay, for trying hard. That's your teacher again. Give them a gold star.
West Brom. You were all saying they were dead and laughing at me when I said not to get Newcastle assets because I thought West Brom would hold him.
West Brom are dead. They're just not dead yet. They're on the floor flailing around, waiting to be poked for the last time. It's going to happen, bless them. Wish them all the best in the Championship, but they are definitely down. So that is it. I mean, you're right. Liverpool-Stoke. I mean, my 30 seconds on that game was that Stoke rode their luck a little bit. Of course, I'm going to say that. But at the end of the day, they were well drilled. They were disciplined. Eric Peters had probably the best game of his life against Salah. I mean, he was absolutely unbelievable, Eric Peters. Despite getting away with what was clearly a blatant handball for a penalty in the last 10 minutes, which I'm not bitter about and I'm not going to go into.
I'll tell you what, I was half glad that you didn't make it back from Tough Mudder on time because I got to watch that game quite nice and calmly, minus going, oh, please don't let Salah do anything because my captain's king.
Yeah. It could have been also different, right? I mean, Salah, I think 5 or 6 minutes in, I was running the Tough Mudder course at the time, but got back in the car listening to the second half on the radio, and they were saying that was a glaring miss. And I subsequently went on Twitter to find a gif of it. Oof, bad miss, really, really bad miss. And if he scores that, potentially it's a very, very different game. Salah maybe gets a couple of goals and it's a good captain option. But nevertheless, here we are, and we are going to the Chelsea game, potentially. Certainly we've got to get the Roma game out of the way, but potentially going to the Chelsea game, being a very, very important game for the top 4, potentially. But we shall see. We shall see.
The only other thing to say, obviously, about the 0-0, because I don't really think it's that valuable talking about it, is to mention Brighton, who because they have got a double, don't get them. They've got City and United.
They've got a bad double, haven't they? It's a difficult double. The other thing to say about Liverpool is that, and you guys are saying MU Fan TV, thank you for joining MU Fan TV. He's saying Anfield Express failed me. I had Kane as captain, so I learnt Salah was playing. It's kind of made a good point there. You know, a lot of us will have been considering Kane captain. Anfield Express say Salah's playing. You stick the captain on him, but I think that's. I think, well, a lot of people did. I know you didn't, but a lot of people did. And maybe, you know, I don't think you can say Anfield Express threw you wrong on there. They're giving you some information. It's up to you to decide what you do with it. I still think it was the right decision to captain Salah. Could have been also different, like you said, after 5 or 6 minutes.
They have said they're not going to give any more hints and tips, though, aren't they?
They have come out and said that is their last leak. Their last leak, which is a shame. But nevertheless, it was one of those where, you know, it was nice while it lasted. Couldn't last forever, could it? I don't know whether they've been rumbled or whether they're just not doing it anymore. Who knows?
They do seem to be disadvantaging Liverpool by doing it.
Well, potentially, if our opponents get hold of the team sheet, of course.
If we've all got hold of it, then I imagine that they have too.
Yeah, you've got to think. So they are now not leaking any more teams, according to their Twitter handle. So their follower rate will start plummeting in the next couple of weeks. I think it was Spencer, or one of you guys said that the overall ranks have updated. So let's have a look at this. Ugh, horrible ranking. So I've dropped, by the looks of it, about 30k or so. Horrible game week rank of 3.3. I've got a couple still to come with Kane and Eriksen, so that could change, of course, particularly if Eriksen does well. But expected. That is more or less what I expected at 153. So not a great week. Let's have a very quick look at the live stream regulars. Let's see how you guys have got on, if there's any standout scores in there.
Is that up to date?
Normally the league isn't up to date, but I want to talk about Dom J. Let's talk about this dude. 63, game week rank of 51. That is nice. Double Burnley defence. Zaha, Sterling. Dom, if you're on Dom, that is very, very good indeed, sir. Very, very good indeed. So 63 for Dom. Let's have a look a bit further down. Anybody down here can even touch 63? I don't think they can. Richard. We've got to have a look at this. Oh, we mentioned this at the top, didn't we? 66. Let's just check this out.
Ben Davies to come.
Hazard captain. Ballsy. I like it. Sané, Sterling, Zaha. I think Zaha's the difference. If you've got Zaha, makes a big difference, doesn't it? You're climbing up those ranks. With Davies still to come. So if Kane bags a few, could be looking a bit different. But right now, Richard, you're looking very, very good for manager of the week. If we ever had such a thing. We could have that. I think that's a good idea for next year, isn't it?
Looks like on my pen from
Oh yeah, we need to shout out to Third IFC at Third IFC. Sending you that. That's awesome. And 60 for Ammonit. Fair play to you. That's a very, very good effort. 60 points. Trent, Salah, Sterling, Hazard, Jesus, Karius, Tarkovsky. Nice. Some good picks there. Some very, very good picks. Very good. Very good. So how's the league shaping up? Well, it's not updated, so we don't know. But Jamal is still sitting pretty at the top there. Looking very, very good. Very, very good. Joe's saying, me and Lee battling it out for 19th place. Well, as we said on Twitter the other day, Joe, 19th is the new first. I mean, that is what we're all battling it out for. The wooden spoon that is 19th place.
I'll tell you what, Joe. If you beat Lee, we'll send you a wooden spoon.
I think he's going to the game as well, Joe. I think I saw earlier that he's going. So
what, tomorrow?
Yeah. And I think he said something like he's got Kane captain. So if Kane scores, never mind that he's there in a yellow shirt supporting the Hornets, he'll be giving you a virtual high five over the stands. Yeah.
Give me a wave. Actually, you won't be able to give me a wave. I'm at the opposite end to the away fans. You'll be at the other end. So
some pretty good scores there, guys, for this week. And of course, it is not over. There's still more to come. There's absolutely still more to come. But fair play to Richard and to Dom J for those in the 60s. That is very, very good. Indeed.
Right, you better have a look at your polls.
We do need to have a look at the polls. We're absolutely quite right to do that. Quite right to do that. And then we're going to wrap it up because we are getting over time as usual. Let's have a look at what we're doing here. Here we go. As usual, I don't know how to do it without doing it on my phone, but that is what we're doing. Let's go to the channel. Here we go.
We need like a little holding page, don't we, while we wait for you to get the polls out.
Hold the line, please, caller. That sort of nonsense thing. You're absolutely right. So let's have a look at the polls. Let's vote. So I'll ask you, which chip will you be playing in 37? Triple captain?
Yeah.
Who's the best Chelsea player for double game week 37? Willian, Hazard, Alonso, Giroud, or Chelsea? You kidding?
I don't want any of them, so I'll go with your opinion.
Trust you to screw my polls up. Couldn't you have just...
No, look, I'm not in a minority, I'm in the majority.
So I put Willian, Hazard, Alonso, Giroud, and you've gone, I want Chelsea, but none of those. Or you don't want Chelsea.
Well, I don't really want Chelsea, so...
You've been on one tonight. Team with the most points in double game week 37. I'll press my phone, don't worry. Team with the most points in double game week 37. City. Best differential for 37. Now, I'm not having you saying I don't want any of them. Morata, Mahrez, Sanchez, Ben Davies, or Gundogan.
Ben Davies.
Oh, shut up. I knew you were going to say that.
But it's not Mahrez, is it?
Oh, good Lord.
Nobody's voted for Mahrez.
Tadic, gold or fool's gold for next game week?
No, fool's gold.
Fool's gold, I think you're spot on with that. Right, let's have a look at these results. So, guys, which chip will you be playing in 37? 76% of you playing the triple captain chip. I think that is a very, very popular tactic. I think a lot of people will be playing that triple captain. But I think there's now some uncertainty about putting that on Kane. I really do. I really think there's some uncertainty. If he blanks tomorrow night, there'll be a lot of people looking at Sterling and Jesus.
Just looking at that, so Jamal's saying he's got 2 of his chips there. Which 2 you got left, Jamal? Bench boost and triple captain, presumably.
We're going to come to that in a minute. Give us the answer, Jamal. We'll be looking forward to that. Which Chelsea? Yeah, because I don't think he bench boost actually. Or maybe he didn't free hit. When it was a free hit week, he didn't free hit. So maybe he's free hit.
Maybe it's free hit.
We wait to hear. Best Chelsea player for double game week 37. 40% of you Chelsea. You kidding? So no one's going Chelsea despite this little revival over the last couple of weeks. But of the players that I put there, Hazard is the most popular, 26, despite the price tag. He is the most popular. And then it's Alonso with 18, Willian with 12, Giroud with 4. I'm surprised at that.
It's because he's a bench. He's bench fodder.
He's benchable, isn't he? That is the problem. Team with the most points in double game week 37, City. I think we're expecting that. Chelsea at 0, Spurs at 14, United at 6. So on that basis, we must be triple captain a City player, must we not? Must be.
Well, unless you've got Kane and you're me.
Unless it's you and it's Kane, yeah.
But absolutely. I think actually what those results show is the way that the games fall. City have got the nicest fixtures, followed by Spurs, followed by United.
You're absolutely right, yeah. Plus City will be in, I think, the same sort of mode. They're in party mode. That Huddersfield game could be a cricket score, couldn't it?
Could be.
Best differential for 37, 41, saying Sanchez. Quite like that. Again, difficult to get in because he's expensive, but actually looked all right today against his former side. Whether that was because he was motivated by playing for his former side, I don't know. Having said that...
But he looked really good in the Cup as well, last week.
He did, but he still gives the ball away a lot. He's still prone to the odd rubbish cross. I'm still not convinced that he's
expensive, but I can see why it's a good differential.
He's still got time to grow into that United side, I think. One to look out for next year if he's a bit cheaper, which I'm not convinced he will be. Ben Davies, 30%. So people enjoying Ben Davies.
Is that we now know Rose is back in training, so it's whether Rose is fit for both games. I'm personally not sure that Rose is going to be with us next season.
I was just going to say Poch is going to get rid of Rose, isn't he?
Mostly.
Take him to Real Madrid with him, won't he?
Well, maybe you can go to City with Salah.
Oh, right, okay. Very good.
So, yeah, I think probably we should see Ben play through the rest of the season, but we'll see.
Okay, Gundogan in at 19%, Morata at 8%. No one fancying Mahrez, which is a shock, isn't it? Which is a shock. Tadic, gold or fool's gold for game week 37? 76%. 3 out of 4 of you saying fool's gold.
Well,
I think
that's just Stato and Chris and the other. Who's our other Saints fan?
I think it's spot on. I mean, a lot of the casual FPL players will be looking at Tadic this game week. 2 goals, probably top scoring in the game week. I think, other than Zaha potentially. No, I think it will be Tadic. Double game week with some nice fixtures coming up. He will be within the top net transfers in, won't he? I mean, he will be right up there. For me, it's fool's gold. I think he's done naffle for weeks and weeks and weeks. I can't think that you can suddenly expect him to go on a run. But this is FPL. This season. It has been crazy this year. It's been crazy. So, guys, that is absolutely El Stato, not consistent enough. And therein,
from a Saints fan.
There is somebody you should listen to as a Saints fan. Guys, we are done for tonight. We are done. Thank you very much for joining us. If you like the video, hit the like button, of course, and make sure that you subscribe if you haven't already.
No.
How many live streams have we got left?
Well, I
haven't got that many left.
I think just before we go, we have to just put out there. I don't know, when are we going to stream, because it's Liverpool on Wednesday.
Oh,
and we cannot.
Definitely got to watch that, haven't we?
Well, correct.
Unless we stream after the game, I'll be in either a proper grump or a good mood.
Well, because the thing is that Thursday is too late because it's deadline on Friday.
So it's not Thursday, it's possibly not Wednesday, is it Tuesday?
Well, it's just like actually back to back. We might have to come Tuesday.
I think Wednesday after the Liverpool game could be quite good.
Oh my goodness.
If we've won, I'm going to be in a great mood.
If you've lost, it's just me.
If we've lost, I ain't coming on.
We just me sat here. And we all know what happened when I made my video just me. It'll take me 8 takes to just get on.
If we win, I might give it a bit of the hello. Oh, by the way, did you see this? Roberto Firmino signed a new contract until 2023. Yeah. Did you see how he did it? Did you see the video?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, it was so good. He come in and he loves a little no-look goal, doesn't he? And he's just come in, signed his contract like this. and just sort of walked off whistling LA. I love that guy. I love him. So guys, we're going to hopefully, we will live stream for you again during the week to look ahead in more detail.
I've been getting a lot of grief from Aid for not answering their questions.
What questions? Aid, come on, tell us what questions. Transfers.
Oh, you want to know about our transfers?
Well, this is why we're going to hopefully live stream during the week on either Tuesday or Wednesday, because we want to look ahead to Gameweek 37 in even more detail. I don't know, we covered it quite well, I think, tonight, but we will be looking at transfers. Right now, I've got some fires to put out. I've got a Mahrez to get rid of, I've got a potentially injured Lukaku to get rid of, and I've got I've got a Callum Wilson to get rid of.
So what happens if Salah's banned?
And if Salah's banned, I've got an Egyptian to get rid of.
Have you got a problem with the United Nations at this rate? Just like...
Problem with Algerians, Egyptians, Lukaku, Belgians. So I've got problems all over the place. So transfers, yes, I've got, I need some time to think about how I'm going to fight those fires. So Aid, we will be coming.
He's going to make a 12-point hit. Did you know this?
Is he really?
Yes, 12-point hit.
Outrageous.
I've been trying to talk him out of it, but saying it's a risk, but he thinks it's the right thing. And actually, the sad thing is that when I looked at the transfers he wants to make, it is the right thing. But making a 12-point hit, my gosh, that's a brave man.
But hey, look, it's time to have fun with FPL. We're 2 weeks from the end. I mean, this is in 14, 15 days, we'll be done.
He's also the only Arsenal fan I know who wants a Spurs victory tomorrow night. He's got 3 Spurs players, including Captain Kane.
Nice. Okay, nice. All right, well, we will hopefully, I think it's going to be Wednesday night. I think it could be a late one Wednesday, guys, after the game. If it goes to extra time, I'll be absolutely amazed, because that means we'd have lost 5-2 on the night. So I can't believe it goes to extra time. So we'll be a winner in 90 minutes, I think. I think we're going to live stream after the game. I think that's what's going to happen.
Okay.
I think that's what's going to happen.
If you send us your questions on Instagram or Twitter about Gameweek 37 transfers, whatever it is you want to know about, and we will answer them on Wednesday evening. I will write them in my book, and therefore we will answer them.
Okay, very good. So Jamal is saying yes, bench boost and triple captain. So he's got 2 chips left, and he's saying my season is now starting. Jamal, we are 100%.
Are you bench boosting then? You must be bench boosting for the double.
I would have thought so. So we're 100% behind you, Jamal. Of course, of course we are. I know that it's last few game weeks have been a little bit wavering towards, maybe red arrows, a few green ones, but we are 100% behind you, mate, to go on and do, play those chips, whatever it is you need to do to win this thing. That would be incredible, wouldn't it? Absolutely incredible if we won it. Oh, it'd be sensational.
Unbelievable.
So all the best to obviously to Jamal. All the best to you guys in tomorrow night's game in Spurs versus Watford. You will be there, of course, in what I think is going to be horrendous conditions. I don't know if you've seen the forecast, but the North London weather forecast looks awful. I'd be wrapping up warm if I were you.
And particularly as last time I was there, it was like beautiful weather.
Yeah.
In my Spurs shirt. This time I think it's going to be full on Arctic conditions.
And if you see Joe there, you can give him a virtual high five when Kane bags the inevitable captain hat trick, which I'm sure is going to happen. Until next time, guys, follow us at FPL Family on Twitter, at FPL Family on Instagram. Like the vid, share, subscribe, all the rest of it. We know that you guys do that anyway, and we love you for doing that. We will see you, I think it's going to be Wednesday night after the Liverpool game. Like I say, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and we'll let you know exactly when it is we're going to be coming to you with more detail on Double Game Week 37. Until then, a good night from me.
And from me.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for joining.
Take care, everyone.